What's going on, good people? Just been out here on the road driving around. Been a long day, long week. I got another week, and I'll be back at home for a little bit. Getting a little scruffy, waiting for this weather to permanently warm up and run out there on the beach with it shaved, nice and smooth. Couple of things is on my mind. I'm out here driving a truck all the time. Just observations and things that I observe and I see going on in the world, and it's my perspective. I mean, everybody's got one. Opinions, right? Everybody's got one. This killing down there in Georgia. I've made some comments on some of the news media that's been posting it, and my point of view on it is, when preachers all together, or in the case with Trump, or you go back Charles Manson, people are being led to do something. Even a president leading troops off to a war, right? It's not your words, right? It's not what you're telling yourself. So it's a lie. It's a lie to you, because it's not. It's like if you read the Bible, you read it for yourself and for your mind, and how it relates, and you learn that way. That's why I think books and reading are really helpful, is because then the person is interpreting it and learning it for themselves. Everything's conjecture. The way one person says something to you, it's their point of view. No matter how you look at it, it's their point of view. The way they say it to you. And believe it or not, some people talk in tongues. Okay, so what you may be hearing in a word is not what they're really saying. Okay, but it's like the guy, he went off and killed those people because of the way this preacher, the way his church has been teaching him all these things. It's like, to me, I don't go to church. I'll be honest with you, I don't go to church. And I cried the first time they ever drug me off to a church. I cried so bad they had to take me out of there. And I never really cared for church ever. And the reason being is, to me, I have a personal relationship with God and what good is to me. And what good is to me is that there is no wrong inside me, and there's no fear inside me, and so that leads to inner happiness. It doesn't lead to me overtaking anybody else's philosophies. It's not my God against your God or anything like that. I'm a peaceful person, right? Inside myself, I'm a peaceful person. I feel good about things, and I hope other people do feel good about things also. You can't ever go by what people say, the words coming out of their mouth, because a lot of time people say something and I'm like, if for me to adapt and to have said something the way they said it, I feel like something inside me would have had to die in order for me to say things that way, so I don't listen to other people, and I think it's imperative for people to not listen to others in that kind of way. You could take other people's spin on it. You could take other, just, all right, like with a grain of salt, right? But nothing is religious to you except for what you are telling yourself, right? That's what I mean. Is that nothing others say should be religious to you. It should exist inside yourself, and the things that other people are saying to you, and if you take it in a religious kind of way, it may end up changing you. It may alter you. You may feel like you're the most damned person in the world and that you're carrying everybody's sins on earth. None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. And so if you got it in your mind that you seek perfection and that everybody out here should be perfect all the time and stuff, it's conjecture. You know, it's only through your eyes. Let's see if I can. It's only through your eyes. You know, everything is conjecture. You got to think about the other people's eyes. You got to think about what they're seeing, the image that you're putting on, the personality that you're putting on. You know, if you come into a place and you're acting like you're the boss and you damning everybody and do this and do that like you work at Popeyes or something, like you're creating yourself a bad day. You know, unless, you know, obviously you're joking around and people are like, whatever, knock this shit off, man, you know. So it depends on your level of clowning around, okay? But some people can't take a joke. That's just, you know, some people ain't happy. And so it's difficult sometimes. It's difficult. And like in the case with that Georgia guy, obviously he couldn't take a joke, right? You know, because the message is coming from a preacher. You're not sitting there thinking this is a joke. But I tell you what, if I'm in a church and a preacher's talking about all these races and trying to put it in my head that all these people are bad or evil because of their race or their gender or whatever, that's a damn joke to me. That's a joke in my mind any way you put it. We're all people, and if you don't accept and you know, if you don't give other people the right to be human, you're only denying yourself the right to be human, right? Everything is a mirror image of you, and so if you're really going on and calling out these people and saying that these people are really all this evil, you're really all just, you're talking about what's inside of you. You're not talking about what, you know. It's always the pot calling the kettle black, right? And so I've heard this for years with the politics, Republicans and Democrats. A lot of people, you know, and then you start to look at it and you kind of laugh about it because it's true. It seems true anyway. One side will always accuse the other side of what it is that they're doing themselves. You know, like they go off and say, "Oh, you're cutting jobs and you're being terrible to the black folks." Well, it's them that's really doing it. It's the other side. It's always, you know, they're always trying to point the finger. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. You judge the world from within inside yourself, right? So outside of yourself, those things don't exist. It's only in your mind and your heart. And none of those lies matter to anybody else but you. So this guy going off and killing these people, you know, it's like, what kind of surprise do you think it was to them? You know, it's just completely out of the blue. But this guy is, you know, it's a shame. It's a shame because I don't personally, you know, I'm 39 years old now, and I've seen this country change a lot in my life. A lot. I've seen people change. I've seen the way the world was going change, and I feel like a lot of it had to do with changes inside myself. I can't deny that. It's me taking responsibility for the world, because I hope for a better world, so I hope for better things inside myself to make a better world, right? Because everything's a reflection. And you know, but all the cases in the past where it comes to presidents or Charles Manson or all these people, you know, is that in the case of Charles Manson, they locked him up. You know, they put him in jail for the rest of his life, man. They actually sent him to the gas chamber, but then they outlawed the gas chamber before he went. So he spent the rest of his life in prison and denied all his paroles. 83 years old when he died. So But you have people doing just as bad, right? If you want to blame him and say that he was really wrong for telling those people whatever he told them, or doing whatever it was, which he did not participate in the killings, and these preachers didn't, and the past presidents that sent men off the war didn't, but they participated in a way of engaging the psyche of the person and tell them, this is what we need you to do. You're a soldier for us. We need you to do this. And that's the way a follower, a petitioner, I don't know if that's the word or not, but somebody that goes to your church is a follower in your church. That's plain and simple. A follower in your church is a follower of the things that you say. And if you're saying hateful things, that stuff, they're following that. That's the road that you're sending them down. All they really need is some guidance. And no, they're not looking inward. They should, because you evil people out there running, in these, well, I say evil people. I can't say evil people because I know where the trouble really is. But I guess in a way I would recommend people to not go to church, to not listen to nobody but yourself. Everything is conjecture. Everything is bullshit. Everything. It's all BS. The only thing that's real is what is inside your heart. What is ever inside your mind, that is what's real. If somebody else is putting something inside your head, it's up to you whether you make that real or not. Right? And so, but I think if you were to go back and realize that not all Americans were born with the same brain. Well, and maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I don't know. But I do know this. If you're afraid of sinning, you're probably a sinner. Don't be afraid of sinning, because the forgiveness is the best part of sinning. The forgiveness, whether you really truly wanted to do whatever it was that you did, the forgiveness that you will be given is worth your weight in gold. It will give you life. It will open up doors and windows for you to see out of. Because all the people that are running these churches and running the country and all this stuff, all these people, they got all these rules and all these little things to try to hold everybody down. Because it's inside themselves, right? They know the things that they did. They don't know the things that you did. Nobody knows the things that you did. They know the things that they did, right? And they're going to put that on you. Now, are those the things that you did? You're a totally different person than they are, right? They're going to try to put those things on you. And so it's one generation after the next putting everything that they did, blaming the rest of them. It's kind of like the, back in the 50s or whatever, people would get married when they were 14 years old. Nowadays, you looking at my daughter, she's 14 years old. Motherfucker, it's like, well, 40 years ago, wasn't nothing been wrong about that. If I was in that age group and this girl was 14 and we had a relationship or whatever, you go off and get married and have kids. That was a thing, So everything is all about judgment, and it's like after you bind the world to these laws and these judgments for so long, you're not going to have any life left to live. You can't step out of that little square box that they paint around you without getting in trouble. So what do you got to do? You just got to say, well, there's no white paint box. And even if there were, I don't care. That's just the way it is. I don't care. Like Red in Shawshank Redemption. Let them do whatever they're going to do. because ultimately they're putting on everybody else whatever they judge them for, whatever they see about them, that's what they putting on them. And people got to let it slide. I think it helps to be forgiven so that you can forgive. Right? Once you've been forgiven, then you can forgive yourself. You can forgive others. Once you've been forgiven. And I think that's an important part to it, forgiveness. And I think in order to be forgiven, you have to sin in some kind of way. You have to sin so that you can be forgiven. So then you can turn around and forgive others. But don't go on off. Do not go and kill people. Killing is wrong. That's not the type of sin that I'm talking about breaking. I'm just saying, it's like a Catholic. The Catholic will say, that unless it's wrong inside yourself, then it's not wrong, right? Because we all judge ourselves. So you're drinking alcohol or whatever, if you see that as a sin, maybe drink a little bit. Forgive yourself for it. But in no way, and that's why I don't make too many YouTube videos with me talking, because I feel like everybody could find something wrong. Like, I've known people to write books and then they get sued, right? Because what they wrote, somebody could misinterpret it. It's everybody's got their own perspective, and unless it's kind of like you got to write songs with everything that you do. You got to leave everything kind of open in it so that it suits everybody's perspectives. Because if you try to prove anything, you could get nabbed for it. And like I said, they're not going to lock the preachers up. They're not going to lock the presidents up. They're only going to lock the common man up that uses his First Amendment rights to talk to others. And if somebody misconstrues what that person says, then they're going to turn it and say, that was hate speech, and we're going to lock you up forever now. But they don't do it in the obvious cases, like where you're in church and the preacher is preaching to you. To me, that's like an obvious case. A friend on the street or a friend out here in trucking or whatever, you say something to me, I know it's BS, man. You got these people in these authority positions. And that's a whole different ballgame. But like I said, those aren't the ones that get locked up. They got something over you. Your president, he got something over you. A cop, he got something over you. That they can find something to disturb your life with, basically. They can harass you. And they do. They will. If they really want to. Yeah. They give everybody, if you can be given a hard time, they will give you a hard time. You got to get to the point where don't nothing bother you, because they will do everything and anything they can to bother you. That's just the way it goes, man. So take care of yourself, take care of others, be nice, be good, be cool, and remember, you ain't got nothing to prove. Peace.